The 2025 NFL trade deadline is officially over, and we had an incredible week of trades with some major blockbusters going on today on November 4th. Today, we are going to be doing a 3-round mock draft post-trade deadline. This has become a bit of a tradition here on the channel of doing a 3-round mock after the deadline, so I'm super excited about this one. But before we get into it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a ton, lets me know you guys are enjoying the videos. Comment down below what your favorite moves of the day were, what your least favorite moves of the day were, who were the winners, who were the losers of the deadline. We're not going to talk about a lot of the deals right here, but as we get down through the episode, we'll start to mention some of the trades that did go down. But I'm super excited about this one, so I don't want to waste any more time. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it with the New Orleans Saints at the number 1 overall pick. I think they're going to go quarterback here. Tyler Shough had a couple of okay moments against the Rams, but I still think if you are picking at number 1, you're likely going to be looking for a new quarterback. And to me, Fernando Mendoza is my top quarterback in the draft class. I like the arm talent. I like the quickness at which he can operate an offense. He runs an NFL-style offense right now for the Hoosiers. They get the ball out quickly. He's an excellent decision maker. He's accurate, and he doesn't turn the ball over. The interception numbers have gone up the last couple of weeks. I think it's his 3rd pick in as many games, but I think he's put together a really strong season. He should be the number 1 overall pick as of now. At number 2, we've got the Tennessee Titans, and I think this is where I'm going to start to go a little bit off the board already. We're going to change up this mock. If I'm the Titans, I have to improve the defense. I know that. They aren't able to rush the passer as consistently as you'd like to see. They moved Draymond Jones to the Ravens. They've completely changed up their secondary, so we'll be addressing that. I'm going to go with Reese here at number 2 overall. This is not a move that I have made so far in this series, taking Reese this high. But Reese right now is playing at a really high level. I know he's listed as a linebacker, but this is a guy that I truly believe can do a little bit of everything for you on the defensive side of the ball. You can play him as that off-ball linebacker, but he is such a unique prospect and that he knows how to get after the quarterback. He's got really high pass rushing traits. He's super strong, super powerful, a really good run defender. And if I am the Tennessee Titans, I like the versatility he can provide to my defense. So while yes, I have Ruben Bane and a couple of other guys a little bit higher, I think that the versatility factor is going to get him drafted. I have Reese as my number 3 player in the draft class. So we'll take him at number 2. At number 3, we got the New York Jets. Now we'll talk about the other situations here, but the Jets had a fire sale today. They got an additional 2nd-round pick this year. They got an additional 1st-round pick this year. So they are fully embracing the rebuild. They also brought in Mazi Smith, who is terrible, and Adonai Mitchell, which I like the flyers that the Jets have taken. Now you're at number 3. You have to go quarterback. I don't really think there's any question about it. To me, this pick is pretty simple. I'm going to go with Ty Simpson. I think Ty Simpson is a top 5 quarterback in this draft class, or a top 5 worthy of going in the top 5. Had a tough one against South Carolina, but he's putting together a really, really good season. The accuracy is phenomenal. This guy just doesn't turn the ball over. He knows where to go with the football. He's a very good decision maker. He's got some really good arm talent. The ball placement is phenomenal. Has to do better under pressure. I think his motion and the way he gets the ball out of his hands, to me, is a bit concerning. 3.03 seconds time to throw is a lot, but I still like Ty Simpson, and I think the Jets start this rebuild off. You got your tackles, you got Garrett Wilson, get the quarterback of the future. I think that's Ty Simpson, and we'll be going defense. At number 4, we got the Miami Dolphins. We're an interesting team. They moved Jalen Phillips. They didn't really make any other moves other than that. There were rumors that they were going to move Waddle. There were rumors they were going to move Chubb. They ultimately didn't. And I'm sitting here at number 4 for Miami, and I think there are a number of ways you could go. I think Ruben Bane is in play here, especially because they were very open to trying to move Bradley Chubb, and now you could get some power on the opposite side of Chop Robinson. I think you could go with a Caleb Downs. Minkah Fitzpatrick was another player that apparently was on the move or on the market. They could go quarterback because Tua has been terrible. And the last time we saw him was Thursday night, where, again, he was not very good. It's a tough spot for the Dolphins to be. I also think offensive line you could definitely consider, but as much as I like Spencer Fano, I like Mauinoa, I like you have you've got 3 third-round picks. I think you could get a good offensive lineman in that range, whether that be an Austin Sierraveld or a guy like Nicky Prongos. I think there's some options. So here at 4, I'm going to take a quarterback here, and that's going to be Dante Moore. I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten about Dante Moore in this draft class, but he's had a really strong season for Oregon as well. Another very accurate quarterback. I think he's a better athlete than the 2 that we've mentioned, but he does profile more as a pocket passer. Lightning quick release, good arm, very good ball placement on the football. I don't think Mike McDaniel's going to be fired, and I think Dante Moore can play the role Tua does in terms of get the ball out quickly, run a spread offense. I think Dante Moore has a lot of that, so I'm going to take him here at number 4 for the Miami Dolphins. At number 5, we got the New York Football Giants. Very interesting spot here for them. They didn't really make any moves at this deadline. I still think offensive line is a very interesting move for them. Mauinoa, Spencer Fano, one of them, you could play both of them, I believe, at either guard or tackle for you, and I think it could be a really nice move. If I'm the Giants, though, I want to go receiver. I want to get a franchise number 1 receiver. That, to me, is Jordan Tyson. I think Jordan Tyson has been banged up a little bit at times this year, but there's just nothing that he can't do on the football field. He's fast. He's an excellent route runner. He's got really good hands. He's strong at the catch point. He's a great separator. This receiving room in New York is very bad. Outside of Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton's not been good. Jalen Hyatt hasn't been good. There's a chance they go 2 receivers in this mock draft. I think it's a big need for the Giants, and I think they go with what I believe is a blue chip receiver and the number 1 receiver on my board in Jordan Tyson. So I'll go with him at number 5. At number 6, we got the Cleveland Browns. I know a lot of people are going to say quarterback here. I just don't think there's going to be a quarterback that goes probably until the 2nd or 3rd round. I like Darian Mensah. He right now, where do I have him? I think I probably have him at QB. I have him right around that on that same tier of John Mateer, Lenora Sellers, Darian Mensah. Mensah is the guy I would consider, but like I said, not going to go that route here. I'm going to go offensive line here. I think adding some help, getting a guy like Francis Mauinoa that can play tackle for you. I also think he could be a very good guard for you as well. Good hands, great athlete. I think he can move people off the ball in the run game. There's a lot that I really like about Mauinoa as a player. I think he could have a really nice career, so I'm going to go with Mauinoa at number 6. At number 7, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders. They looked way better offensively this week with Brock Bowers back. It's a miracle what having your best player can do for you. And so I do think that makes this a very interesting spot. I think they might go best player available here because if Ruben Bane is on the board at 7, can you imagine the Bane masks at the Raiders games? I think people would absolutely love this. Pairing him next to Max Crosby, just the versatility. I think you could kick him inside because he is almost 280 pounds. He is a really large human that I think can get after the quarterback. I think can defend the run. And if I'm the Raiders, there's a lot of different areas that I think I could go. Got a couple other picks here. I might go with Ruben Bane. I don't know. I'm checking this now. I don't know what Malcolm Kuntz's long-term contract looks like here. Even still, I think I'm going to take Ruben Bane. I love the athleticism, the versatility. He's my number 1 player in the class. So if you get him at number 7, I think you're getting incredible value on a player that I think has a chance to be a perennial all-pro type of player. So Ruben Bane will take to the Raiders at number 7 overall. At number 8, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm taking Peter Woods. I'm not really going to think twice about it. There's a lot of different areas that I think Cincinnati needs to go, but they have been completely embarrassed on the ground the last couple of weeks. Kyle Monangai goes for almost 200 yards. Just a really tough year for the defense. And going back, Malcolm Kuntz is a free agent after this year. So yes, we'll stick with the Ruben Bane pick. But Peter Woods is going to be the no-brainer move for me for the Bengals because they need some help on the interior of that defense. They need to be able to stop the run. The linebackers have been bad. The secondary's been bad. Really, the whole defense has been bad for the Bengals. But if I am them, I'm like, look, we can go get a guy that I think is a awesome player, is a top 5 player in the class to me, and he immediately helps his defense. So I'll go Ruben Bane at number 8. At number 9, we got the Washington Commanders. I feel for Commanders fans. They are down bad right now with so many injuries. They have been awful on the defensive side of the football. They've been pretty bad offensively. Granted, they have been down so much on the offense. Terry McLaurin's missed time. Debo's missed time. Luke McCaffrey's now out. I think this could be a receiver pick, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think Tate very much is in play here because you look at this team, I think that the receivers are... You got to get one. But the secondary has been really concerning to me. I'm going to take Caleb Downs to this team at number 9. They really need to improve in this secondary, I think. And Caleb Downs, with his versatility to play all over the defense, I think you've got a real opportunity to have a star here. So we'll go Caleb Downs at number 9. At number 10, we've got the Baltimore Ravens. They're starting to get back into the swing of things. They've looked really good the last couple of weeks. I still worry about this receiving room, though, and I'm going to go with Tate to this team. Tate is not my wide receiver 2 yet, but there's a very strong chance if he keeps up the level of play that he has been at, that he will be my number 2 receiver behind Jordan Tyson. His route running has been unbelievable this year, which was an area that I was really concerned about, but he is just separating at such a high level down the field in ways that I just didn't think he was going to be able to do. His speed looks better. He's strong at the catch point. You now add this type of player into Baltimore with Lamar, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely. They might have a real strong chance at continuing to contend. They probably are never going to get Tate again in a mock draft because their schedule is so easy. They're winning a lot of football games right now, but I think Tate would be awesome in Baltimore, and he'll be my pick at number 10. At number 11, we've got the LA Rams. They are a really tough team to draft for here because, yes, we talked about it. I think quarterback you could go with. I just don't think Sellers is going to declare. I don't think Levitt's going to declare. Nussmeier's probably a 3rd rounder to me. Mateer, same sort of deal. It's early to go that route. I still am going to go with the corner for this team and take Mansour Delane. Look, I know they brought in Roger McCreary. I don't think Roger McCreary is going to change this defense altogether. Mansour Delane, I think you can continue to beef up this secondary. You got Kobe Durant. You've gotten some nice play from some of those younger guys, but Delane to me is the right pick here. I know that they added McCreary, but the versatility, the ball skills, the physicalness, I think he could play in the slot if you need him to as well. I really like his fit in Shula's defense. He'll be my pick at 11. Then at 12, I'm going to take Spencer Fano to the Arizona Cardinals. This team will probably go quarterback for them with one of these picks, if I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, Fano is my number 1 tackle in this draft class. I think you could play him at right tackle and just get a guy opposite of Paris Johnson. He's an incredible run blocker, an incredible athlete. I think he also could have made a pick at 11 for the Rams. I think Rob Havenstein's long-term replacement. But yeah, I think Fano, with his athleticism, this team has been a lot better at running the football. They're doing a lot more from shotgun, and Fano, I think, is going to be a really good fit for what Arizona wants to do offensively. So I'll take Fano at number 12. At number 13, we got the Houston Texans. I'm going to take Jeremiah Love here for them because, truth be told, I don't really like any other offensive linemen here. I'm not a Caden Proctor guy. He had some bad moments against South Carolina. And yes, you could move him to guard, but just get a guy that you kind of know what he's going to be. I think we know Jeremiah Love can be a damn good running back in the NFL with his speed, his receiving chops. This team has not been able to consistently run the football at any point. And now that CJ Stroud is likely going to miss some time, I think you have to continue to beef up this team in terms of being able to run the ball. We're going to address offensive line for them later, but Jeremiah Love, to me, is worth every penny. He's worth a first-round pick, a top 10 player in the class. I'm going to take him at number 13. At number 14, we got the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is really the first video or the first team that we'll talk about that made a big acquisition. They added Quinnen Williams to their roster. That's a big-time addition for the Cowboys. He is a monster in the middle of their defense. They add him next to Kenny Clark. You got some young edge rushers. I'm still probably going to take an edge here, to be completely honest with you. Actually, I don't think I'm going to do that. We're here at 14, and I'm going to have to go corner because they are getting lit up, it seems like, every single time their defense is on the field. Now, they pick again at 24, but they don't have a second, nor do they have a third-round pick. So they're going to have to be very smart with the way that they manage this draft. Jermon McCoy's great. I think I'm probably going to go edge here, and we'll take corner with our second first-round pick. I think that's the route we're going to go for Dallas. You're getting great play from Donovan Ezaraku, but outside of that, I still think there's room to improve. TJ Parker is going to be the pick here for me. I like the way he's playing. He's got power. I think he's a great complement opposite of Ezaraku. I think he's a slightly overhyped prospect in comparison to where I have him on my board. I still think this is a great range for him, but I think TJ Parker is a guy that gives you power. He's a high floor run defender. They want to be better at defending the run. So I like TJ Parker quite a bit, and I think he'd make a lot of sense for this team at 14. At 15, we got the Minnesota Vikings. Tough spot to be in if I'm Minnesota because you got 4 picks in this one. I do think they could very well look offensive line. You could go center, but with Connor Lew's injury, I just don't really think that that's going to be the case. We'll take some offensive line help for them later, but at 15, I think the secondary is a big weakness for them right now. They've struggled at times. If I'm on the clock here at 15, man, tough spot. I like McCoy. I like Terrell, who I think's been pretty good this year. He's had a really strong season for the most part. Doesn't have any picks, not the ball production that you've seen. Colton Hood, said a little early for him. Could Vega Ioane go here at 15? I think that's in play. A lot of different options for this team. I'm actually going to go defensive interior for the Vikings. They have struggled against the run. I'll take Amari Washington. I made this pick, I think, last week. They have to get better inside because Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, they haven't been the additions that they were hoping they would be. Amari Washington, to me, I really like what he could bring to the table. So, really athletic, really strong. I think he's like 339 pounds. He's a really good football player. Yeah, he's 330. I like his fit here for Minnesota, so he'll be on my pick at 15, which I think makes the pick very simple. At 16 for the Panthers, I'm going to take David Bailey here. The run defense has been pretty good in Carolina. All things considered, they have had a pretty strong run defense. You've got to improve this pass rush. I know they drafted Princely Umanmielen. I know that they drafted Nick Scorton, who's been okay for them at times. David Bailey is an unbelievable true pass rusher, 22% win rate, has 55 pressures this season with 12 sacks. I'm all in on David Bailey as an edge prospect, and for Carolina, a team that I think needs to get after the quarterback, I think that's their biggest question mark. I think David Bailey would be a home run for them at 16. And I think at 17, it makes the pick easy for the Chiefs. They aren't going to go David Bailey. He's not the edge that they like, the type of style they like. But Keldrick Faulk is. And if Keldrick Faulk gets to Kansas City, I think it's really interesting. This is a really young, really athletic, 270-pound edge rusher that can play with his hand in the dirt. He's super athletic. He's got really high run defense traits. I think right out the gate, he is going to be able to impact your team because he is such a good run defender. But I also think the traits are there for him as a pass rusher. He can win with some speed. He's got some flashes of pure dominance. I'm going to take Keldrick Faulk at number 17. At number 18, we got the Chicago Bears, who they were looking for an edge rusher. They got Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. I'm not letting that stop me from going edge again. I think it's a little early to go interior defensive line for this team, but I don't think it's too early to go Cassius Howell. I know he is a smaller edge rusher, and I don't know if this is the type of guy that Dennis Allen is going to want. But Cassius Howell can get after the quarterback. Another guy who's got 34 pressures this year. Short arms, very unique build, but his speed to bend, his ability to win with a variety of pass rush moves, his inside spin, he absolutely lit up Garrett Nussmeier on multiple instances on Saturday night a couple of weeks ago. I love Cassius Howell as a player. I think to the Bears, he would be a really good fit. At number 19, we got the Cleveland Browns. They took Francis Mauinoa in the at pick 6. At number 19, I'm going to take Mekhi Lemon to them. I'm very high on Mekhi Lemon as a prospect. He has been one of my favorite receivers. He's coming off his 2 worst games of the year, but a guy that is just a do-it-all player. Smaller, yes, but I think he can play on the boundary just fine. He plays bigger than his size. I love this player. I really do. His route running, his speed after the catch, I think is fantastic. There is a lot that I really like about Mekhi Lemon, and if I am a team like the Browns where I've got 4 picks, I got 2 first-rounders, I might push off quarterback. I think I can get better value later. I just think it's too early to go quarterback, and they just didn't get one. So we'll take Mekhi Lemon at number 19. At number 20, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a pretty big win against the Indianapolis Colts this past week, but didn't make any moves at the deadline. They were linked to a couple of receivers, so I will probably take a receiver to them. And which receiver I take, I'm not really sure. I think they need some separation on this team. They need a guy that I think can consistently get open. Denzel Boston, I think, would be really fun. Could be that true X, be that physical weapon for you on the boundary, because DK Metcalf isn't that. As big as he is, he's not great in contested catch situations. Denzel Boston is. Where almost a 68% contested catch rate. A guy that has had a really productive season. You know what? We'll take Denzel Boston to the Steelers at 20. This is not a move that I have made very often, but I really like Boston as a player. I like the size, the physicality. I think he's a really good athlete after the catch. You can flex him inside. He can do some really fun stuff for you. So I'll take Denzel Boston at number 20. At number 21, we've got the Detroit Lions. They are a team that I'm going to continue to mock corner to, and I'm going to continue to mock Avion Terrell because I love the man-to-man abilities, the physicality that he can provide, the run defense. He is a Dan Campbell type of defensive back. There's just no other way around it. I'm a big fan of Avion Terrell, and I think he fits what Kelvin Shepard wants to do. I think Terrell is every bit of that. So we'll take him at 21. At number 22, we got the Chargers. They got lucky in this one. Not lucky, if you will, but we'll take Caden Proctor to them at 23. Or 22, excuse me. I've made this pick one other time. I think it might have been last week. The Chargers' offensive line interior has really struggled. You haven't really gotten a lot from Becton. I know they tried to add Trevor Penning. I don't think that's going to do too much for this team. But when I look at Proctor, there's a lot of question marks there, but he's going to go very high because of the traits. He's 360 pounds. He's really good in space as a run blocker. And inside, I think there's some upside. Now, his feet are very heavy. He is still going to get beat inside as a guard. But if I can get a player of his caliber at 22, take a swing, I think they would make that move in a heartbeat. I'll take Caden Proctor at number 22. At number 23, we've got the San Francisco 49ers. Very interesting team. They have been decimated off the edge. You got Bosa, you got Williams, you got Keon White. They were linked to trying to go add another edge rusher. And I do think Romello Height would be a lot of fun to them, but I just don't really think that's a move that Kyle Shanahan is going to make. I'm going to go Chris Bell. I went this route last week. I really like this move if I am the 49ers. Look at the receiving room. Ayuk still hasn't played this year. Jawan Johnson's a free agent. You got Ricky Pearsall. I think that this team has to continue to improve this receiving core long term because I don't know if Ayuk's health is going to hold up. It hasn't up to this point in his career. Ricky Pearsall, I like a lot. And Jennings, I'm just not convinced he'll be back here next year. So if I am the Niners, I think Chris Bell can fill that Deebo Samuel role for you. A big, thicker wide receiver, if you will, that you can get him the ball in space. He's really good after the catch. There's a lot of similarities between Chris Bell and Deebo Samuel that I think the Niners would make a lot of sense to tap into. So he'll be my pick at 23. At number 24, we've got the Dallas Cowboys. This is our last pick for the Cowboys. They took TJ Parker earlier. Now I'm going to go with a corner for this team. Whether it's Chris Johnson, Jermod McCoy, Colton Hood, to me, I'll take Jermod McCoy. I know the injury concerns are there. It looks like he'll be back next week, if I'm not mistaken. I know he's trying to get back this year. Still hasn't played. At this point, because it's so late into the season, I wouldn't be shocked if he's just like, you know what, I'm going to declare next year. But I love Jermod McCoy. He is my number one corner on my board still because his athleticism, his stickiness in coverage, he's really fluid. I think Jermod McCoy could be a really good home run hit. And they took Savone Revel, who I really like. They'll be getting him after the bye. This defense, I think, is going to get a lot better after the bye. You get Quinnen Williams. You get DeMarvion Overshown. You add Savone Revel. I like the way Dallas is looking. I think they double dip on the defense and take Jermod McCoy here. At pick 25, we got the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go with Romello Height here. I think the value is phenomenal for another just true pass rusher. Now, I don't know that this is the type of edge that Buffalo would typically go for, but Nick Bosa, no, I had it right the first time. Joey Bosa is having a really strong season. Greg Rousseau's had some flashes here and there, but I think they got to upgrade off the edge and get after the quarterback with more consistency. Romello Height, I think, can do that. He is a really dynamic pass rusher who's having a very strong season right now. So I'll take Romello Height here. I think he's a very good football player that makes all the sense in the world to Buffalo. At number 26, we've got the Seattle Seahawks who add Rashid Shaheed, which I absolutely love that move for this team. Now, I think they could go with a guard here. They have struggled on the interior. I'm not ruling out the possibility of going guard. However, I'm going to go with the corner here. Reek Wollins had his ups and downs. Colton Hood, I love his fit with the Seattle defense. They play a lot of zone coverage. That's where Colton Hood is at his best. Play him on the boundary. You got Witherspoon. You got Eamon Worry. You got Julian Love. Like, this secondary could be sick. I think it's a good guard class, at least in that second to third round, where you could probably get a guy like Emmanuel Pregnon that would make a lot of sense. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Colton Hood here. And I know I just said Emmanuel Pregnon could be going in the second round to the Seahawks, but if I am the Rams here, I think guard right now is one of my biggest needs. I'm going to go with Emmanuel Pregnon here. I went through and rewatched the tape on some of the guard prospects that I hadn't gotten to watch recently. Pregnon, Awane, Basantis, 3 guys. Pregnon is the best guard in this draft class. I think the best true guard, if you will. A guy that is 6'5", 318 pounds. He is having a very strong season for Oregon right now, where he has been really good as a run blocker. There are still some question marks on can he hold up, but he's allowed just 2 pressures this season. The footwork and the timing that he is playing with in terms of landing his hand strikes have been really, really good. I've been very impressed by that. He's got good hand fighting. He's a great athlete. There's some balance concerns, and he does get beat inside at times, but for the Rams, I love Emmanuel Pregnon as a potential sleeper to sneak into the back end of the first round. So I'm going to take him here at 27. At 28, for the Broncos, I'm going to go with the linebacker. I'm going to take C.J. Allen. I like C.J. Allen more than I like Sonny Styles, who, spoiler alert, is going to be this next pick. C.J. Allen's athleticism is just a difference maker for me. No, he's not exactly the coverage defender that you have in Sonny Styles, but I think Allen's is a better all-around athlete. He's equally as good of a run defender. I think he has better traits. So I'll take him at 28. And then at 29, we'll take Sonny Styles, who, former safety, another guy that I think can cover really well. He's got great athleticism, great range on the back end for you. Great run defender, gets off blocks pretty well. Don't have a lot of negative things to say about Sonny Styles. I think those 2 linebackers both have very realistic chances of going in round 1. At pick 30 for the New England Patriots, I like a lot of what they've done. They've had a really good season. They were linked to some receivers. I don't think there's another receiver that's worth going here in the first round. I'd probably do that in the second. If I'm New England, offensive line is an area that you could look to go improve. Caleb Lomu, Caleb Tiernan. I think I'm going to take Caleb Tiernan here. Tiernan's a player that I'm really, really high on as a prospect. I went back and watched the tape on Tiernan this week as well. That's a first-round tackle. I think you could play him on the left side. I don't think there'd be any issues on the right side for him either. Another tackle with maybe shorter arms than you'd like to see, but he's 6'7", 329 pounds. A guy that I think can run block pretty well, but he is dominant as a pass protector. I think that is where he is going to be at his best, is in that drop back passing game. I'm a big fan of Caleb Tiernan. I'll take him here at number 30. At number 31, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they are a team that is, I'm looking corner for them. Yes, they added Jair Alexander. I'm not worried about that move whatsoever. They add Michael Carter, which I like, but I don't know if that is a move that I'm in love with. I'm going to take Chris Johnson here at 31. I like the versatility that he can give to your defense. I think he is a really good coverage defender. You can play him on the boundary. You can play him in man, play him in zone. Very similar to Quinyon Mitchell. I don't think we'll see, because I didn't think Quinyon Mitchell was the type of athlete he was, and he tested unbelievably well. Chris Johnson, to me, I really like as a player. I'll take him at 31, which makes this interesting because we're at the last pick of the first round, the pick that my Indianapolis Colts traded for. Maybe he's one of my favorite players in the league. Where do I have it? I got Sauce signature right here. Sauce Gardner headed to Indianapolis. The Jets are now in a position where they need to continue to upgrade this roster. We took Ty Simpson to them at number 32. Now we are at number 3. Now we're at pick 32. A very tough spot here. I could see them going on the interior of their defensive line here and going with a guy like Caden McDonald. If they want to just continue to beef up the middle of that defense, I think that's an interesting play. Receiver, you pick again at 35, so I'm kind of keeping that in mind. Could you go with a guy like Jacoby Lane? I think it's a bit rich for him, but I do think receivers in play. Corner, I could see them taking a corner as well, because they moved Michael Carter. They moved a few guys. I think that could be a position that they could address. Linebacker, I don't really see as a big need. Edge, I don't see as a big need. Interior offensive line, I think the offense, outside of receiver, is pretty good. I will take, this is a tough spot. I think I'm going to take, I'll take Christian Miller here at 32. It's not my favorite player in this draft, but if I'm the Jets, just getting good football players in the locker room, and I think Christian Miller is that. I think he can be a pretty good, right away defensive lineman. I don't think he is an unbelievable, run defender. I don't think he's an unbelievable pass rusher. I think he's an okay one at both. He's still a top 50 player to me. I like his value here, the back end of the first round. I think teams are really going to like him as well. So we're on the clock here at 33 for the Saints. I think receiver, right out the gate, we're going to go with the receiver to them. I'll take Chris Brazzell, take some speed on the boundary for this team. I think Brazzell is a really fun player. He has been one of the biggest risers this year in terms of, I just think he has the ability to separate deep. For the Saints, you add a quarterback of the future and Fernando Mendoza. Now you get Chris Brazzell. I really like that for them. At 34, we've got the Tennessee Titans, who took Arvell Reese in the first round. I think they could go receiver here in the second. Again, it's probably a bit early to go with any of these guys, but I do think corner is a position that I really would like to address. I'm going to take Keith Abney here at 34. I love his physicality. I love the feistiness that he plays with. Even if he is just a nickel at the next level, I think he can do a little bit of everything. He's got awesome ball skills. The fluidity is really, really good. I have him right in this mix of a handful of other corners. I like Abney quite a bit. I'll take him here to the Titans at 34. At 35, the Jets are back on the clock. Took Ty Simpson, took Christian Miller. You've seen a couple of receivers, you've seen some receivers come off the board. I think I'm going to go Elijah Surratt here at 35. Again, Surratt is not this very traitsy wide receiver, but I just think he does so many things at such an efficient level that he's going to go in the top 50, I think, because he's a good route runner. He's got strong hands. For the Jets, I think you got to get consistency there. Casey Concepcion, I think there's too much potential volatility there with his play style and drops. So yeah, I'll take Elijah Surratt here. And the Jets have put together a nice draft class with Christian Miller, Ty Simpson, and now Elijah Surratt. On the clock here at 36 for the Dolphins, they took Dante Moore earlier. I'll take his teammate here at 36 and Kenyon Sadiq. Now, somebody's got to fall in these mock drafts. To me, it's Sadiq. Sadiq is an interesting player because I see the athleticism, I see the traits, I see the upside. Great blocker. I just don't see a lot of consistency as a receiver, particularly as a route runner. But for the Dolphins, why not? He can improve your passing game, even if it's not just as a vertical threat, but I think he improves them because he can block. He can chip in. He's a great blocker. You can use him in a lot of similar ways that you used Jonnu Smith last year, and he was incredible for them. I like Kenyon Sadiq a lot here. I'll take him at 36. At pick 37 for the Giants, I will take Vega Awane out of Penn State. They've got to get a guard. We took Jordan Tyson to them earlier in this draft. So you come away with one of the best guards and my number one receiver in this class. You're having a very nice draft. Awane, great pass protector, has to be better as a run blocker. He slips off of blocks too often. There's some power elements in his game. And we saw with Scatterboo, this team wants to play smash mouth football. I think Awane would be a really good fit for the Giants here at 37. At pick 38, we got the Cleveland Browns. Who did we take for them? I believe we took, we took Mekhi Lemon and Francis Mauinoa. So we got a receiver, we got a tackle. I'm going offensive line again here for the Browns. I'll be completely honest with you. I think this team desperately needs to improve their line. And I'm going to take Caleb Lomo. I think you now get a guy that I think could be your starting left tackle. You got a guy that I think could be your starting right tackle. Their line has so many question marks around it. Like, I don't feel comfortable drafting a quarterback for this team until the offensive line is even remotely better. So Lomo, I really like as a prospect. I think there's a good chance he could go in the first round, but ended up slipping, and the Browns are going to take advantage of it. I'll take him at 38. At 39 for the Raiders, we took Ruben Bane in the first round to them. Now, they're back on the clock. I think corner is another spot that this team definitely should look at. I like D'Angelo Ponds. He is my next corner on my board. I also really like Xavier Scott. So those are the two players that I kind of have in mind here. I think I'm going to go with D'Angelo Ponds. I know that he's undersized, but man, he can do so many good things for you in terms of his physicality, his feistiness. I think he would be a really good Raider. I think he could play in that nickel spot. Reminds me a little bit of Nate Hobbs for you. I think D'Angelo Ponds is a top 50 player in the class. Where do I have Ponds on my big board? I have Ponds right at 44. So I'm a big fan of Ponds. He'll be my pick here for the Raiders. Where are we at now? We are at number 40 for the Bengals. They got Peter Woods in the first round. I love that move. Now I think they got to go with some offensive line help, whether it be a guard, whether it be a tackle. I'm very tempted. I'm actually going to do Logan Jones, that I think would be great. I think it's early for Logan Jones here, and he might not be available at 72. Slaughter, I also think it's a bit early. It's early for Basantis for me as well. They could go with a tackle here, move him to guard. I think Sierraveld or Dunker would make a lot of sense. Who do I like better between Sierraveld? Let me look at my board. Sierraveld is the guy that I have highest right now. I'm going to take Austin Sierraveld for the first time in this series. He is a guy that I think profiles better at guard at the next level. He is 6'5", 325 pounds. He has some really good traits. Athleticism, I think, is there. Really good run blocker. He's just able to move guys off the line. He's got good recovery speed, great grip strength. And I think he'll probably kick inside to guard at the next level because he has shorter arms. So if you get a guy like that at 40, I feel pretty good about the Bengals draft, getting Peter Woods and Austin Sierraveld. So I like the start to this draft for Cincinnati. At 41, this is probably going to be the Jennings Dunker spot. Guard has been a big question mark with the Houston Texans, and I think Jennings Dunker is a guard without question, an unbelievable mauler in the run game, has to play more balanced, play more controlled, but the high-end reps from Jennings Dunker are out of this world. You're gonna get a really good player here at 41. Improve that interior of the offensive line. Keep your franchise quarterback protected. I'll take him at 41. At pick 42 for the Baltimore Ravens, they took Tate in the first round. I think they would love to go with a guard. They pick again at 74. I think there's probably better value there. So here, I think defensive interior could make a little bit of sense, whether that be Caden McDonald, whether that be Caleb Banks. Could they be the team to take a flyer on a guy like Caleb Banks? I also don't hate the idea of taking an edge. I know they brought in Draymond Jones, but I think LT Overton is kind of the Ravens guy. They need some pass rush. I'm actually going to go with Quincy Rhodes here. At 42, get a guy that I think can play inside, can play outside. He's 275 pounds, a freak of nature athletically. He's a really, really good football player. I'm a huge Quincy Rhodes believer. I'll take him at 42. At pick 43 for the Atlanta Falcons, I think they have to go with the receiver with this pick. Concepcion, I mean, the value is so good for Concepcion. Who do I have next? I've got Lane, I've got Bernard, and Concepcion, like all right there. And for the Falcons, I like Concepcion. So he'll be my pick at 43. His elusiveness and the ability to use him in space is something that I don't think this Falcons team has. And he would be a really, really good complement to this receiving group. So I'm not going to overthink it. I'll go KC Concepcion at 43. At pick 44 for the Arizona Cardinals, we took Spencer Fano in the first round. I'll go linebacker here to them. I think the value on linebacker is really good. I'll take Anthony Hill Jr. The athleticism that he has is really rare. Great blitzing threat. Very similar to CJ Allen in that I don't think he is the greatest like coverage defender. He's made some nice splash plays here and there, but he's a great tackler in space. He's got great range, great athleticism, and is a good run defender. So I'll take him at 44. At pick 45 for the Houston Texans, we took Jennings Dunker just a couple of picks ago. I think I'm going to go safety for this team. Kalen Bullock, like they tried to bring in CJ Gardner-Johnson, and there was some weird stuff that ended up going on there. So he's not here anymore. Yeah, I think safety is an underrated need for this team. Now, AJ Halsey, really, really fun player. Has great ball skills. He has been a very reliable player, not just at LSU, but at Houston throughout his career. He's my number 3 safety in the draft class. My number 2 guy is Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. There's a very good chance that I'm going to go there. I'm just pulling up the Texans depth chart here really quick. They could go O-line again. Like I'm not ruling that out. Defensive tackle, I think they could go with. And then your safeties right now are Kalen Bullock and MJ Stewart. They drafted Jalen Reed last year. I think I'm going to wait on safety. They pick again at 69. Nice. I'm going to go defensive interior. I'm going to take Caden McDonald to this team. Get a really big physical run stuffer in the middle of your defense. Underrated need for this team. They've had ups and downs defending the run throughout the year. I think McDonald could be that type of player for them. He's been awesome for Ohio State. I'll take him at 45. At 46 for the New York Jets, Ty Simpson, Christian Miller, Elijah Surratt. I'll go corner. Now they have completely overhauled this secondary. I'll take Chandler Rivers. Shout out to the draft hub. I know he's gonna like this draft for the Jets. Might not like the Miller pick, but Chandler Rivers is awesome. One of my favorite defensive backs in the class. Yes, he's smaller, as are a lot of these guys, but he is such a fun watch. He can do so many things for you on the defensive side. The ball skills are there. The fluidity is there. I think he could play on the nickel. He could play on the boundary, and he's great in man-to-man coverage, which I think Aaron Glenn wants to run. So at 46, last pick for the Jets. This is the one they got for the Quinnen Williams trade. I'll take Chandler Rivers. At 47 for the Minnesota Vikings, they took Amari Washington in the first round. I think here I'm going to go with Jake Slaughter. Their center room is concerning. Long-term, it's a bit concerning to me because you don't have a long-term starter outside of Ryan Kelly, and he's not a long-term answer. So Jake Slaughter, probably the best center. I'm not going to take Connor Lew. I don't think he's going to declare because of the injury. So, yeah, Jake Slaughter, you're a Minnesota Viking here. I pick 48 for the Carolina Panthers. David Bailey was your first pick. I think linebacker is in play again for this team. Deontay Lawson's had a really good year. Jacob Rodriguez has had an unbelievable season. There's a chance he could go this high. Like, I wouldn't rule out going Texas Tech back-to-back. I don't love the traits with Rodriguez. I think there might be some pushback there. I have Torian York next. He's had a bit of a down year. Deontay Lawson will probably be the pick here. I'll take Deontay Lawson at 48. Lawson is a very interesting linebacker prospect. 6'2", 239, good size, good tackler, good mover, good in coverage. Like, he's a good all-around player. I don't see him as like this great athlete. He's got to do better at disengaging with blockers, plays out of control at times, but I think he can improve that second level of the Panthers defense. So I'll take him at 48. I picked 49 for the Chiefs. I think they need a corner. A.J. Harris, I think, is going to be the pick here. I'm lower on A.J. Harris than the consensus. I don't see A.J. Harris as a great player, but this is the Chiefs type. Big, long corners that are very sound, can play in zone. I think that's what A.J. Harris is. I think Harris has a good back pedal. He's fluid, doesn't have the greatest ball skills. He's not a great tackler, but I do think he could make this Chiefs defense a little bit better. But he has just struggled this whole season. I think the traits and the athleticism will get him taken pretty high. At 50 for the Bears, took Cassius Howell earlier. They could go running back. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to look corner again here. Man, Xavier Scott, pulling up my cornerback rankings, like, I have Colton Hood, I have Keith Abney, and then I have like Chandler Rivers, D'Angelo Pons right there. But there's not that big of a drop-off from like Chandler Rivers, D'Angelo Pons, and then Xavier Scott. Like, all those guys are really close together in my opinion. But Scott's been injured, and I wonder if he's going to declare. I do think they have to go corner, though. I'll take Xavier Scott here. We'll base this off my board a little bit. Scott can play safety. He can play corner for you on the boundary. Played 3 games, was really good in those 3 games. But, yeah, Xavier Scott, love the versatility, love the way he plays around the football. I think he could be a really good player for this Bears defense. At 51, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They could go interior of the offensive line here, take a center, take a guard. I'm going to start it off by going with the safety. Defensive back has been a question mark. I'll take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here. I'm a huge fan of EMAC. I think he can do so many different things. Great ball skills, really good run defender. He is hard to throw the ball against. He's so sound in coverage. I don't know if he's got elite speed, but he does everything else so well for you. He'll be my pick to Jacksonville at 51. At pick 52, I think we're going to take a swing on a quarterback here. This is where I'm not going to take Lenore Sellers in this video. I take it back. We'll take Lenore Sellers here. He's on the board. We'll take him. Somebody's going to swing on the upside. The traits are ridiculous, and the high-end flashes are worth betting into. Like, I am all on board with that. Let's see what he can do. But I think at 52, this is a really good value spot for Sellers, and the Steelers potentially land their franchise quarterback of the future. At 53 for the Lions, I think they could go interior of their offensive line as well. Basantis, Logan Jones, Lalolu. I'm a big fan of Lalolu as well, but I think I'm going to take an edge for this team, and I'm going to take R. Mason Thomas, get some juice opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Doesn't have the power Hutchinson has, but Hutchinson does have the speed Thomas has. I love this player. The speed to power to bend, it's so unique. He's got rare traits at the position. We'll take R. Mason Thomas at 53. And then at 54, I think this is probably going to be the LT Overton spot. Unless they really like Zion Young, who I think is a good player. Joshua Josephs, I think, as well. More of that speed rusher. Man, Josephs is interesting. I'm not the biggest Overton guy. If I'm looking at my edge rankings, I have Overton at 11. I have Gabe Akis at 12, Joseph's at 13, and Young at 14. So they're all like very, very tight with one another. Mateo Uiagalelei is the highest of all of these guys. But yeah, we'll take Mateo. Mateo is the highest guy on my board. I do like his athleticism better than the consensus seems to. He is a better run defender than I think he gets credit for. I think he can line up outside, be a designated pass rusher, get after the quarterback. I'll take Mateo Uiagalelei at 54. At 55 for the Niners, this is where I'll take A.J. Halsey, because I think safety is a bigger need for this team than people want to realize. I know they drafted Siegel. I know they drafted Mustafa. They've drafted safety the last few years, but nothing has really stuck. A.J. Halsey is really fun. You pair him with Mustafa, two guys that just fly around, make plays. A.J. Halsey, I love his fit here at 55 to San Francisco. At 56 for the Packers, they pick at 56 and 88. I'm tempted to go Caleb Banks here because their interior of the defensive line has had its struggles. I also think this team has to go corner. Now, when I look at corner, like Julian Neal is, where do I have, like in terms of cornerback rankings? Who's next? Will Lee is the next guy on my board, right with Julian Neal and Kelly Jones, who I'm not even sure if Kelly Jones is on this simulator. I'd be very surprised if he was. Yeah, he's not on here, so he probably won't go today, but Julian Neal, you pick again at 88. Man, we haven't talked about Julian Neal here, but I think he's a really good player. Do they go corner here, or do we take a swing on a guy like Caleb Banks on the interior? I think that's the move. I'll take Caleb Banks. Somebody's going to bite on him in the top 64, and I think he makes a ton of sense here because, look, he can defend the run. He's a good pass rusher from the interior. The question around him is just health. Hasn't been able to stay healthy up to this point in the season, but I think there's some upside there. So we'll take him at 56. At 57 for the Buffalo Bills, I very interesting spot here again. Like, I could see them going in the safety market as well. Dylan Thienemann's a player I like. Bray Hubbard. I like Genesis Smith quite a bit. Where is Genesis Smith even going to be on here? He should be. Did I miss him? Genesis Smith. If Genesis Smith isn't on here, I'd be very surprised. Wow. Okay. That's a player that we will probably do a fill. Like, he'll get taken at some point. So, but at 57, linebacker is a move that I think is very interesting. Jake Golday, people really, really like. I just don't see the traits, but I get the upside. Like, I get why people like Golday. Do I think he should go here? No, I think he's more of a third-round guy, but I think I am going to take Jake Golday here to them at 57 because I think the linebacker class does start to dip off. You've got him, you've got Torian York, and you've got Jacob Rodriguez. If I had to bet on one of them, like 6'4", 240, that's really good size on Golday. He's great at getting off the blocks. He's a good coverage defender. Overall, he doesn't have great speed. That's kind of the question mark around him, but I like what he can do downhill, and I think he would be a really good fit here. At 58, I think we're going to go to Tennessee defender again for Seattle and take Joshua Josephs here. Get some speed off the edge. Like, I know that Boye Mafe, they've got some guys there, but they don't really have the guy. On the interior, like, I don't think they're going to replace Leonard Williams. I don't think they're going to do any of that. Joshua Josephs, as that outside linebacker in their 3-4 scheme, I think could be a really good fit. So we'll take Joshua Josephs at 58. At 59 for the Rams, I think receiver is probably where I look at next for this team. I'm actually going to go quarterback for them. I'm going to take Darian Mensah here at 59. Mensah should get first-round consideration right now. He has been unbelievable this year, taking care of the football. He's got the arm. Well, we'll get back to that, but he's got like good control of the football. He's got the size. He can make plays happen out of structure. The one worry you have about him, like the deep ball is there, but he's got to put a lot of force on it. If Darian Mensah declares, which that's up in the air right now, Mensah is going to get inside the first round. You heard it here first. The traits are very, very good. The arm talent's great, and he's been awesome for Duke. So, yeah, we're going to go Darian Mensah. Try to get the quarterback of the future in LA. At pick 60 for the Broncos, we took CJ Allen earlier. They could go center. Like, I think Logan Jones or Lalolu both have, like, real chances. I have... Wow, where do I have Logan Jones? Where do I have Logan Jones? I'm trying to find him here on my board. Logan Jones is... Let me pull this up. I have him at 83. Lalolu I have like right there, so it's kind of in the same mix. Ultimately, I like the athleticism of Logan Jones better. Wattenberg probably won't be back after this year, so I'll take Logan Jones here at pick 60. Iowa lineman, I think there's some potential there that you could get a stud. They all seem to pan out, so we'll go with him at 60. At 61 for Tampa Bay, I'll take LT Overton here. I'm not crazy about LT Overton, but look, I think he can defend the run well, and he's a good enough pass rusher. Like, I know that doesn't really sell you on LT Overton, but Overton to me, like, he's 6'5", he's 280. He's got great size, great length on the interior, but not a great pass rushing bag. Very inconsistent pad level. He gets beat to the outside too often. Doesn't have greatest bend. Like, I think he's fine. For the Bucs, I think they can find ways to use him on their defense, so I like it there, but I'll take him at 61. At pick 62 for the Patriots. Now, we talked about receiver. I'm going to take Jeremy Bernard here. Like, do I go Bernard or Lane? I'm going to take Lane. Take that back because I like the athleticism a little bit better. I think he's got more home run hit potential. Size, speed, that's the name of the game with Jacoby Lane. I like his fit in New England quite a bit. At 63 for the Eagles, I don't know how we're going to do 3 more picks for this team without getting a bit redundant. All right, let's look at the Eagles free agents after this year because they could go a number of different ways. Right now, I'm thinking of going Zion Young because Jalen Phillips, they brought in, that was like their big splash in free agency. But he's a free agent after this year. Health has been a major concern with him. I think they're going to obviously try to bring him back, but Aziz Ojulari is a free agent after this year. Jahan Dotson's a free agent. Phillips, Ojulari, Brandon Graham, Josh Uche, a lot of edge are free agents. I think I'm going to go Zion Young here for them. He is more of that heavy-handed, heavy package edge, similar to a Brandon Graham type of player to them, that I think he could be a big-time difference maker for this team. He's got power. He's a great edge setter in the run game. I know edge doesn't seem like it's a big need for this team because I just added Phillips. I'm more looking at like, okay, if you're not able to bring back, Brandon Graham's probably not coming back again. Phillips, like they made some moves, but I think edge is still a need for this team. At 64, my Indianapolis Colts. Now let me fill you guys in here. Sauce Gardner is an Indianapolis Colt. So I started scouting in the 2021 draft. That was our 22 draft. Sauce Gardner is probably my favorite prospect I have ever watched. Was also the first prospect I ever watched tape on. So like I am very partial to Sauce Gardner. I have praised him for a long time. Like I said, I got the signed mini helmet back here. I got a jersey hanging in my closet. I'm with my coworker, and I said the phrase, man, it's just been a slow day. Like, you had the Jacoby Myers trade. You had a couple of these. I look at my phone. I see the Sauce Gardner tweet. I scream because I'm just ecstatic. In this defense, I think Sauce is going to get back to the form that we saw him. And now the Colts are in a very interesting situation where they have gone all in on this team, and I couldn't be happier. I'm just so thrilled about this move. The contract is very favorable. He's under contract now till 2030. I can't say enough positive things about this move. But there are still things that need to be done on this Colts team. And I think adding a pass rusher is still a need. I think they got to get a guy that can get after the quarterback. Gabe Akis is a player that I think would make sense. He is a good he's a good pass rusher. He struggled at times against the run, but I think he has also shown great run defense flashes. I think he could be in play here. He's got to play more balanced, but I think you could move him around. I think Anthony Lucas, though, is probably the guy I'm going to take here at 64 because, yes, he only has 19 pressures on the season. Athletically, I just think he brings a bit more in terms of athleticism to the table. Derek Moore as well. I mean, he's really come on as of late. I'm going to take Derek Moore, actually. I take that all back. Derek Moore, a player that has really come on as of late, playing really, really well. He's a guy that has good size, good explosiveness. He brings power. While I don't think he does anything particularly great, I don't think the Colts need him to be a superstar. They just need him to get after the quarterback. And as a designated pass rusher, I think Derek Moore could do that. So Derek Moore, another player that we haven't spent a ton of time on talking about in this draft class, I think he could get into the day 2 second round conversation here. Into the third round we go. We got the New Orleans Saints who took Fernando Mendoza. They took Chris Brazzell. I think now we go on to the defensive side of the ball. I'll take Gabe Akis here. No, I'll take Lucas. I think Lucas will probably go ahead simply because teams like traits, and Anthony Lucas has a lot of traits. He's played inside, he's played outside. He's got good athleticism, and I think he would be a good fit for the Saints defense. So we'll take him at 65. At 66 for the Titans, took Arvell Reese, Keith Abney. I'm going to go get a receiver here. We'll take Jeremy Bernard. I'm a big fan of Jeremy Bernard. Not necessarily like the highest ceiling, but a guy that can just do a little bit of everything. I think he could be a really, really good number 2 in this league. And just given the way the board fell, I think this is a great draft for the Titans. I will take Bernard at 66. At 67, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles. Chris Johnson, Zion Young. I will take a receiver here to them because they need a third receiver. Dotson is a free agent after this year. Give me Omar Cooper Jr. This is a guy that's playing really good football. Probably a slot at the next level, but I love the way he's able to get open. He's really dynamic after the catch. I think Omar Cooper is a player to get on the radar. He's a really interesting prospect. We'll take him at 67. At 68 for the Miami Dolphins, they went Dante Moore, Kenyon Sadiq. I'm going to go offensive line here for them. I don't want to triple dip on Oregon prospects, but it's very likely that could happen. I think I'm going to take Nicky Prongos here. I'm a very big fan of this player. I know the grades are not good, but the traits are. He is so explosive. He's really athletic. I think he could be a starting tackle for you at the next level. A guy that has just a really good story. Didn't play football until his senior year of high school. Was a walk-on, I believe, at UCLA. Like, he has had to fight his way up. And I think to Miami, a team that needs some help on this line, Nicky Prongos could be a really good fit. So I'll take him. I have him like in a cluster here in the third round, but I like his traits a lot, so I'll take him at 68. At 69, nice. The Texans, I think we're going to go safety here. I'm still a big Dylan Thieneman truther. I like him quite a bit. I know a lot of people like Kamari Ramsey. I'm not quite there. I'll take Dylan Thieneman here. I'm a big Dylan Thieneman fan. I think his versatility, particularly in single high, very good. You can use him all over that back end of the defense. But if he's in those one-on-one drop-back situations, I think he is going to be able to cover, make plays on the football. He's got great range back there. I'll take Dylan Thieneman at 69. At 70, for the Browns, we double-dipped on tackle, Mauinoa, Lemon, Lomu. I'll take a corner here to them. I'll take Julian Neal. We talked about Julian Neal a little bit earlier, but let's give a little bit more of a rundown on him because we haven't talked about him on the channel. 6'2", 208 pounds. Great size, great length for the position. That is so good in press man coverage. He's strong, gets off of blocks well. He's a good tackler. Might not have the greatest ball skills, might not be the greatest athlete, but I do think that this is a really, really good tackler. He can do a lot of things for you in your secondary, and I think Julian Neal is a very good football player, so we'll take him at 70. At 71, for the Raiders, I think they're going to go quarterback here. They're going to take some sort of swing on a quarterback. I'm going to take John Mateer here at 71. Now, I know post-injury, Mateer's been really bad. He has had some struggles. Teams are going to love the character. They're going to love the work ethic, and they're going to love The athleticism, the arm talent, it's there. Mateer is still a top 100 player to me. While I am lower on him than the consensus seems to be for the most part, at this point in the draft, I think the value is really good. So we'll take John Mateer at 71. At 72, for the Bengals, they've had a really nice draft. Peter Woods, Austin Sierraveld. Now I think I am going to go corner, continue to beef up this secondary. I'll take Will Lee the third, the blanket. Really good football player. Again, 6'3", 190 pounds. Not a superstar athlete by any means. The ball skills aren't amazing, but very similar to Julian Neal. Physical, tough in coverage. He's great in press, moves well. And now you've really filled three massive needs if you're the Bengals. So I love the way this draft turned out for Cincinnati. At 73, you got Washington. They took Caleb Downs earlier. I'm probably going to go defense again. Like, I know receiver's a big need, but Gabe Akis is still on the board at 73. I think that's the right pick for this team. He is a guy that can do a little bit of everything. He has played all over this defensive line, played inside, played off the edge. He's a heavy-handed edge rusher that has struggled against the run this year, but he can get after the quarterback. They have struggled to create pressure. So Gabe Akis at 73, I think, would be a really good fit. At 74 for the Baltimore Ravens, Carnell Tate, Quincy Rhodes. I'm going to go with the guard here to them. And I think this is probably the spot where we take Chase Basantis. I'm lower on Basantis than the consensus seems to be. I've seen him go as high as the first round, and I just can't get there on Basantis as a player. He's a good athlete. He's a great run blocker, great puller. You can use him in wide zone, but he's just really struggles against as a pass protector. Not very strong, not very good at blitzes or stunts. I worry about that for him, but at 74, a guy that can fill a big need for you, I think the value is pretty good. At 75, for the Atlanta Falcons, I will take a tackle in Isaiah World. Incredible value for a player that I still really, really like. He's just had some ups and downs this year, and I think some other tackles right now are outplaying him. He has struggled throughout his career in terms of penalties. I think he could be your long-term right tackle, though. He's played some snaps there throughout his career. Isaiah World at 75, I think, is a good spot for him to land in Atlanta, where I think he can play right away. At 76, I love this Arizona draft. Now we're going to add a receiver to this mix. Deion Burks gets a lot of love, and I'm just not a Deion Burks believer like that. I have Burks as a fourth to fifth round guy. There's some guys I just think I would rather take chances on here. Like, I like Antonio Williams, CJ Daniels, Ian Strong. I am going to go with a receiver, obviously, like I said. But for this team, I think they could use some explosiveness. I'm going to take a swing on Bryce Lance out of North Dakota State. Lance has had an incredible season for the Bison. He's got 703 yards. The brother of Trey Lance, he is such a fun player because not only does he have great size at 6'3", 204, but he is a guy that can run good routes. He doesn't drop the ball. He wins contested catches. I think you can play him on the boundary, and he could be a legitimate weapon for this team. So, yeah, I'll go Bryce Lance at 76. At pick 77 for the Dolphins, Dante Moore, Kenyon Sadiq, Nicky Prongos. I'm going to go corner now, or somebody on this secondary for this team. You could go corner or safety. Dalen Everett's on the board. Where do I have Everett on my cornerbacks? Because, yeah, I think we'll take there's a couple of players here that I would consider, but Everett, just a sound, steady corner. Better in zone than he is in man because he's not a super incredible athlete, but the Dolphins need any and all help they can get on the back end. I think at 77, this value for Dalen Everett's very good, so we'll take him here. At 78 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think I might go safety to this team because they have really struggled on the back end in terms of, I just don't know that this team has a lot of I don't know. You trade Minka, you bring in Kyle Duggar, who I don't think is very fast. They just don't have a lot of speed on the secondary, and if I'm going to go with a fast guy, I kind of like, there's a couple of corners that I like in this mix. I like Kamari Ramsey. I like Bud Clark quite a bit. I think he's a guy that, he doesn't have the speed, but he's a really good player. I like Bray Hubbard a lot, but again, not a great athlete. This is probably the spot where we're just going to, just bear with me here. We're going to take, it's going to say it's Jay Green. This is going to be Genesis Smith, the safety out of Arizona. 6'2", 204 pounds, disciplined, smart coverage defender with sideline to sideline range. He is a guy that I think has good effort, good explosiveness, nice fluidity. He's just a really good athlete. I have him as a top 6 safety in the class. There's another safety that I like a little bit better that I probably will take right here to the Vikings. But I do think that Genesis Smith is probably a better athlete. So we'll go with him at 78. At 79 to the Vikings, we took Jake Slaughter. We took Amari Washington. I'm going to go running back here. We haven't had a lot of running backs go off the board. And I'll go with my number 2 guy, and that is Jonah Coleman. He's got some really good contact balance, power, has improved a lot as a pass protector this year, or as a pass catcher this year, I should say. I'm a big fan of him. 5'9", 229 pounds. Not this insane, long speed type of guy, but I do think he is a really, really good running back that probably should go higher in the real draft. At number 80 for the Carolina Panthers, I think receiver, yet again. All right, you got Terrell McMillan. You've got Jalen Coker, who I like as a slot. So you want a really good number 2. I don't hate Ian Strong. He's a guy that's in this mix. I like Malachi Fields a lot. I think he's a little bit similar to a player that they already have. So I'm going to go CJ Daniels. I think this is a guy that can be that true number 2 for you. Good hands, good size to be that number 2. Reminds me a lot of T. Higgins at 6'2", 200 pounds. I'm a big fan of CJ Daniels. I have been since he was at Liberty. I think at 80, this is a really good spot. At pick 81 for the Chiefs, I'm going to go running back for them as well. I think they could go with a couple of guys here. You've got Damon Claiborne, Jadarian Price, and Justice Haynes. I have Jadarian Price right now as my number 3 running back. He's been incredible this year. He has struggled with fumbling the football. For that reason, I'm going to take Damon Claiborne. I think Claiborne is another guy that is under the radar in this class. Not a lot of people are talking about Wake Forest, but he's 5'10", he's 200 pounds. Incredible footwork, incredible shiftiness, great open field speed. He just changes the numbers for this Chiefs offense, and I think he can be a good enough receiving option for them as well. So yeah, I'll go Damon Claiborne here at 81. At 82 for the Bears, Cassius Howell, Xavier Scott, 2 pretty good picks. We're going to go interior of the defensive line. I don't think they're going to go running back here in today's mock. I'll take Dante Corleone, the Cincinnati defensive tackle, the godfather. They just need somebody to help them against the run. Dante Corleone can do that. He's not a great pass rusher, just 2 pressures this season, but he is one of the best run defenders in the country, and I think the value at 82 is very, very good. At 83 for the Jags, I think they go with another really strong interior presence and get Dominique Orange. Big citrus in Jacksonville. A guy that, very similarly to Corleone, no, he's not a great pass rusher. He's got a little bit more, 12 pressures this year, but he is an awesome run defender. He stuffs the middle of that defense really well. I think the value is good for him. We'll take him at 83. At pick 84 for the Steelers, they've got Denzel Boston, Lenore Sellers, Genesis Smith. Now we're going to take a tackle. A couple of guys I really like here. I like Monroe Freeling, but I think they're going to go with Trevor Gooseby. I haven't gotten onto the tape on Gooseby, but he's had a really strong season. He's allowed more pressures this year than you'd like to see, but a guy that has the athletic traits to be a starting tackle in this league, and I think that's going to get him drafted in the top 100. I have Gooseby right around this 3rd round mix on my board, so I think this is good value for him. We'll take him at 84. At 85 for the Jags, I think now we're going to go with Yapani Lololu out of Oregon. I've been very high on him. I think he's a top 100 player. He's had a really good season, and he's a good pass protector on the interior. So For Jacksonville, get some long-term center help. I think Lololu can do that for you. At number 86 for the LA Chargers, you've got your edge. You've got some interior help. I'm not against them going again on the interior, but I'm going to take a safety here to them. They traded Alohi Gilman. I really love Bray Hubbard. I think he is an incredible player. Defends the run well, high motor, good coverage, great ball skills on the back end. I don't know why he's so low on the board, but at 86, I think he could be a very good player. You could pair him with Derwin James. You could pair him with R.J. Mickens. I think you could have a really good duo of safeties there. Here at 87, offensive line, probably the move for the Niners. You go Chris Bell, A.J. Halsey, and I think taking a tackle here makes a lot of sense. Monroe Freeling, I like Blake Miller still. I know he'll be my pick here. A really good athlete. A guy that's a good run blocker. Has to play more controlled. That's been a big question mark surrounding him really his whole career. But the upside with him, I think, is very high. And the traits are really good. So, look, I've got him as a third-round player at 6'6", 315. I'll take him here in the back half of the third round to San Francisco. At 88, Caleb Banks was the pick earlier to Green Bay. Now they go corner. Malik Muhammad, Igbinosun has had a pretty okay season, all things considered. DJ McKinney, who's had a tough year, all things considered. I still really like Josh Moten, but he's been very up and down for Southern Miss. This is where we are going to do another placeholder. I'm going to take Kelly Jones, the cornerback out of Mississippi State. So we're going to replace it, we will put Avery Smith in here. So Kelly Jones is 6'4", 195 pounds. He's got freakish size and length on the boundary, sticky in man coverage with really good tackling for the cornerback position. He's physical. He's good in zone. He has some question marks athletically. He gets beat on double moves, gets beat on some quick comebacks, and he struggles to get off of blocks consistently. But at his size, one, he fits the threshold that Green Bay is looking for. I think his ball skills have really improved, at least this year. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take Kelly Jones at pick 88. At number 89 for the Bills, Romello Height, Jake Golday. I think another receiver could make sense to them, but I think defense is their biggest need. I'm going to go safety again to this team. I actually like Kamari Ramsey as a fit to this spot. They got Cole Bishop. Let me look at the Bills' depth chart here because they've got some interesting decisions that I think they could make. You got Cole Bishop a couple of years ago. He just hasn't turned into the player I think they were hoping. And then you've got Jordan Poyer back there, who I don't think is a long-term answer. Yeah, I think I'm going to go safety. Now, which safety you want to go with? It's such a good safety class. We've taken my top 5 safeties, and Downs, Warren, Halsey, Thieneman, Hubbard, and Smith. The next guy for me is Jalen Husky from Maryland and Bud Clark from TCU. Husky's interesting. I think he's an awesome box defender. I think he would be a good fit here. I think this is a bit early. I have a third-round grade on him, but I just don't know that Husky's actually going to go that high. I think Bud Clark very well could. I also think Kamari Ramsey has the best traits of all these guys. So if I'm going to go based off that, yeah, I'll take Kamari Ramsey here at 89 because I think he can play in the nickel for you. He's done a lot of that this year, but I also think he's a really good back-end defender with some range. He has to tackle better. That's my biggest knock on Kamari Ramsey, but the upside is exceptional, I think. And at 89, I think you got good value there. At pick 90 for the Seattle Seahawks, they have been, like we talked about earlier in the video, they've had a really strong season. I think they got Colton Hood, they got Joshua Josephs. I love their secondary. They probably go O-line here. You probably take some sort of guy that can play. I think they would like to go with a guard. I might go Brian Parker the second here because Brian Parker's got shorter arms, likely going to kick inside at the next level. So Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go with Brian Parker here out of Duke. I think his athleticism and the way he's played this year, I think he has earned himself a spot in the top 100. At 91, we've got the LA Rams, who have had a really strong draft. They've gotten their quarterback in Darian Minshew. They've gotten a offensive lineman that I think could be a really good player for them. They've made some really fun moves. I do think now, though, they have to take a receiver. I think that is the question right now that this team needs to address. And whether that is a slot receiver or a more physical boundary guy, I think like they go with like, if I'm thinking about the Rams type, you got Puka, who does a lot of his work in the slot. You got Devontae on the boundary, who isn't a long-term answer. You probably go to try to fill that Devontae spot, which to me, if I'm filling the Devontae Adams role for the Rams offense, the receiver that I think can fill that the best, I'm going to go with is Malachi Fields. I like Malachi Fields a lot. He is a big physical specimen at the wide receiver position. He is great at the catch point. I think he can be a good blocker for you. He's been uber productive throughout his college career. Malachi Fields is a player that I'm very high on in this draft class. We're going to take him to the Rams. I think he can be a legitimate boundary weapon for McVay in this offense. Here at pick 92 for the Broncos, I think you go edge. And this is an interesting one. A lot of people are going to look at this Broncos edge room and be like, oh, they're fine. I'm talking about more of that 3-4 defensive end type of player. I like Denai Dennis-Sutton here at 92. Like, this is a better range for him than I think where a lot of people had him mocked earlier in the year. The reason I'm taking him here, the Broncos have a free agent in John Franklin Myers that they're going to have a hard time retaining him. Here at 92, like, this is good value to get a guy that I think can start for you, can make an impact on this defensive line right away. So, yeah, I'm going to take Denai Dennis-Sutton here at 92 to the Denver Broncos because I do think what he does really well is defend the run. And not that Denver has had major struggles against the run, but I think he profiles better as that 3-4 base defensive end rather than that outside linebacker. So, at 60 or 93 for Tampa, Sonny Styles, LT Overton were your first two picks. I think they're going to go with a guard more than likely with this pick here at 93. They really could use some help at the guard position. They've been really banged up. I'm going to take Caden Green out of Missouri. Now, Green has played tackle this year for Missouri, but I think he is probably going to be a guard at the next level. Big, physical, powerful player in space that I'm a big fan of what he's been able to do. He has had a strong season, 6'5", 320 pounds, and a guy that is a great chip blocker, good athlete with good hand placement. I like him quite a bit in this spot. At 94 for the Patriots, I think they also would look to go with another pass rusher. I like Cleve Lubin a lot. I don't know that the league is going to be as high on him as I am. I like Damon Wilson a lot. I think he's another really good player. Some fun options here. The player I think I'm going to take is Akeem Mesidor, though. He is having a phenomenal year for this, the Akeem Mesidor. He's having an awesome year for this Miami defense. He can play up and down the line of scrimmage. And yes, he's an older prospect, but I think at 94, this is a good spot for Mesidor. So we'll take him here. At 95 for the Dolphins, you got Dante Moore, Sadiq. They've done a lot of really good work. I do think receiver does make sense. Get some more physicality in this receiving room. I'll take Ian Strong. I think I'm lower on him than a lot of people seem to be. He reminds me a little bit of Pat Bryant, but look, you need some size on the boundary of this room. Physicality, Ian Strong, I think, can provide that right away. So we'll take him at 95. At 96 for the Indianapolis Colts, we took earlier in this draft Derek Moore. I think now I'm going to go with a linebacker to them. I think I'm going to take Jacob Rodriguez. He is a good coverage defender. That's the takeaway. The Colts coverage has really struggled. They have Sauce Gardner, which is huge, but the linebackers have struggled. Jacob Rodriguez would be an awesome fit for what the Colts want to do defensively. I'm going to take him at 96. At pick 97 for the Minnesota Vikings, Amari Washington, Jake Slaughter, Jonah Coleman. Now we're going to go safety. I mentioned it. I like Jalen Husky. He'll be my pick at 97. I think his tackling, his ability to play in the box is really enticing. I think he could be a really good player in this league, so I'll take him at 97. At 98 for the Jags, they've had a really successful draft. Defensive interior, they've gone interior of the offensive line. Safety, I think, is improved. I'm not against going tight end for them. Like, I'm tempted to go with Michael Trigg here. Get some athleticism in that tight end room, but they really like Brenton Strange, and they should. Has had a really nice career resurgence. I'm going to take a corner. They brought in Greg Newsome. He got Travis Hunter, who seems like he's going to be more of a receiver for this team. I'm going to take Malik Muhammad, who's had a really nice season. He really has. I think this is a good range for him. He has improved in coverage this year. He's got the traits. We'll take him at 98. At 99 to the Steelers, I think they also could be in the cornerback market. Their cornerback room is very old. I'm going to take a swing on Igbinosun. The traits are ridiculous. That's really all there is to say. Has to improve with penalties. It has been a major concern with him for his entire collegiate career. But if he can be better at that, then they've got something here. And then at pick 100, the last pick, man, what a draft for the Eagles. They're at pick 100. I think they're going to go offensive line. They always take some sort of lineman here. Monroe Freeling's interesting. I'm going to go I'm going to take Jaden Roberts. I think he's a better guard prospect than Reed Adams is. He's got a little bit more power in his game. He's just a little bit more steady, consistent. I'm going to take him. But there it is, guys. Our 3-round post-trade deadline mock draft. A lot of really fun narratives that kind of can come out of this. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Helps me out a ton. Lets me know you guys do enjoy these types of videos. Comment down below who am I too high on, who am I too low on, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.